humans and non-human intelligent alike. Welcome to another edition of Oklahoma History and Film. Yeah. As you can hear, I don't have my normal cheering section with me today, as this is a very special episode of Oklahoma History and Film, because it marks our first time having a guest. And I would be amiss if I didn't give a very big shout out and thank you to Jeremy Charles from Pursuit Films for not only allowing us to record our guest Kyle at their studio, but for helping with some last minute equipment issues as well. Thank you, Jeremy. You've been such a great friend for the last, 18 years, and I simply couldn't have started this podcast without first acknowledging that. So, again, thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Pursuit Films. Now, let's go back in time to about, 3 or 4 weeks ago when Cold Thorn, Tony, and I sat down with director extraordinaire and Oklahoma homegrown Kyle Kauwika Harris. Diddle-loop.
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Welcome to another edition of Oklahoma History and Film. I am your host, Christopher Gazaway, and along with me, as always,
Christopher Coldthorn.
And our ace in the hole.
Our Batgirl to our Batman and Robin.
That's me.
Yes. Yay. Woo. Standing
I'm
ovation.
Batman, obviously.
Yeah.
I like Robin.
I
Robin's
don't know
cool.
about that. You're Batman? Is that what you said?
When you're a little kid, you can't fantasize about being Batman. You're like, well, I could be Robin.
Well, I was Robin before I was ever Batman, when I was a kid playing around, so... Anyway, we have a guest today, guys.
Yes,
Our first
bring
guest.
Rein it in.
Oh, man, this
First
is
guest,
good.
yeah. With us today, we have Kyle Kauwika Harris, who is the director of the movie that we last reviewed, Out of Exile. And we're going to talk to him today about all kinds of things. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on to our show.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I like Batman, too. By the way.
Who are you, though? Are you a villain? Or who are you?
The superhero villains are always, I think, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of depth to them.
Well, who's your favorite Batman actor? I think that it really says a lot about a person. It's like a zodiac sign.
I grew up with the Michael Keaton days.
Same.
So, like, Keaton was, like, the go-to. And I remember when Christian Bale got cast, I was sort of heartbroken.
And then he did a good job.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Well, we personally,
He
love
grew on me.
Kilmer. This is a Kilmer household here.
In this house.
We only recognize Val.
But what do you guys think about Robert Pattinson right now as Batman? Like, real...
I'm fine with it,
I don't know. The last movie didn't super wow me, but who am I to critique? I couldn't do it better. But I watched it. I was entertained. But I want to see more. I want to see a follow up. So
Yeah.
So anyway, this is how quick things can go off the rails.
that's why we have to have her
It's all
here.
good.
But that one was me. I rabbit holed that one.
Yeah.
Now, guys, today we're this is special because I've had some questions I've wanted to ask you for a while. I've known you for a few years now, and we're really excited to have you here. And one thing we got to know right off the bat, Cawthorn, he pointed it out in the last podcast episode, and was the thing about the mask true?
Yeah, it's got
Oh,
to
you're
be.
talking about the ending is Peter Green's death scene in Out of Exile?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
death scene.
Yeah, like I was, because we kind of briefly talked about it outside a little bit. And that, when you're shooting an indie film, you get like 3 takes, because there's just so much going on. You got to move fast. But that was the only scene that we shot like 10 takes on.
Oh, man.
And because Peter wanted to try stuff. And that was also his last scene that we shot in the film. So like we kind of shot his stuff in order because we were in just like a couple of locations with him, but he was only there for a week. Anyways, so like he knew that was his last scene to shoot, and then he was going to be wrapped, right? And so like we started shooting it, and I had the version in the script, and we shot it, and we were good. And he was like, I want to try something else.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
like he'd already ripped, like he gets shot, and he kind of rips his shirt open. And we had 2 shirts, and the first one, on the first take, he was brrr, rips all the buttons off of it. And so Katie came over and she was like, "Hey Peter, we got one shirt left. Don't do it. Maybe just like open it a little bit so we can see the wound."
Yeah.
And then take 2, ripped them all off. The buttons went everywhere again. So now we're stuck. And so now it has to be what we've got, right? And then from there he was just like, "I think last second, literally, he was like, let's try this thing where he lights a cigarette." And he was like, "They're going to love it. They're going to love it." And I was like, cool. I didn't really understand the reference at first, but then we talked about it later.
Yeah.
But that was Peter. He placed it on the table, the lighter and the cigarette.
I marked out so hard because I'm not like a massive fan of The Mask, but it's an honestly sweet scene. It kind of makes a tear to my eye because like this henchman's dying and the only thing he can do is put a cigarette in his mouth and light it. And I was saying, if you've ever been a smoker, like it resonates with you a little. It resonated with me. So when I saw it in the movie, like I stood up and cheered. I was like really excited about it.
That was Peter's call. That was a last minute thing with Peter. And we just went with it.
Man. Yeah, because it's like, he can't necessarily get him medical help, but he can at least ease his pain a little bit with the cigarette. So, yeah, I thought it was great, man. I really did.
That's cool. There's a funny thing on that right after that, we'd done like 10 takes and he had died 10 different times. And I was telling you, he was spitting like the blood out of his mouth differently. Like one take, you might let it drool.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It would come out the side of his mouth, and the next one it might come down the middle, and the next one he might like and spit it out. So it never the continuity never matches.
Oh man.
And so every time I watch the ending, I'm like, we did it differently. Every time I should have never agreed to the blood in the mouth thing. But it's
hard to match.
Yeah, it's very hard to match.
Yeah, because I bet even if you were trying, like, I'm going to try to shoot it out the left side each time, it's never going to go.
It never lands the same way.
Oh, man.
And,
it also starts to stain the skin and stain the teeth, and so you have to rinse your mouth out.
Oh,
So
yeah, I didn't think about that.
The setup takes a little longer each time.
But yeah, we wrapped them right there. I was like, because I was looking at my first AD, and I was looking around the rest of the team, I'm like, we've got it. And so I was looking at Alex Palmer. He was a producer there at the time, and so we were like, we're about to wrap Peter. I was like, "Peter, we've got it. We're good, man." And he's like, "No, I want to do one more." And I was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to try this one more time." I'm like, "We've got it, man. We don't need to do it again." And he was like, "A good director gives his actor one more take." And I was like, 10 takes? And he's just like, one more. And he's sitting there without a shirt on. And I was looking at him, and I was
all
like,
stained pink
I look
from all the
at
blood.
I look at my first AD, and they're like, tapping their watch, and I was just like, and that's a wrap on Peter Green. And everybody starts clapping. And then Peter just he looks like Hulk Hogan. Like he kind of bowed up. He's looking at me. He's all sweaty. And he was just sitting there. And then everybody's clapping and hugging him suddenly. And then everybody's breaking down and striking the set, to move around. And he walks off into the back of the room. And so I'm out here cleaning some stuff up. And then I walk out the back. And he's standing outside by himself without a shirt on, smoking a cigarette. And he's covered in sweat. And I'm walking out, and I stop, and I look at him, and he turns and looks at me, and we just make eye contact for a beat. And then he just, bear hugs me. and he's just like, "Dude, this was so much fun. Thank you so much." And that was the last time I saw him.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's a great story.
I was really sad because I looked him up, and I had not known he had passed recently.
Yeah.
So that's sad to say. But I have always wondered about, I always wanted to ask, people in the film industry, what's it like knowing that after you pass, people are going to see your stuff? Because I always wondered, that's got to be such a strange feeling. But really cool, though.
I didn't know, if he, did he just, work consistently, but just not in, the public eye as much?
I mean, he did a lot of stuff in the 90s, early 2000s, but, I feel like after that, maybe, well, he was a bad guy in a movie with Gerard Butler and, Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, shit.
Probably.
Was that, what is that movie? Bounty Hunter or something?
Yeah, he's the main bad guy in that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was 2008.
He was doing consistent work,
Yeah,
just
he's working.
flew under the radar, I guess. He just wasn't as known. And I for his talent, I think he should have been.
See, Gerard Butler and Jennifer Aniston, I think they used to be married, and he gets the pleasure of arresting her. That's the kind of the hook of the movie is you get to arrest your ex-wife or whatever.
Something weird,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great stuff.
So before we move on to Huntsman, do you want to ask him anything about Jake the Snake? because we
Oh, yeah,
we went
definitely.
into a whole fan.
Oh, I was so
got some
surprised when I
stories.
saw him, and even more surprised of how good he was.
Yeah.
My first thought, what I wrote down is like, I'd like to see him in more stuff.
Yeah, what was the story, and like how did you come to, I guess,
Yeah,
work with
booking
Jake the
him.
Snake Roberts, wrestling
Jake
legend?
the Snake. I think that was a last minute thing, maybe a month before filming started, with Alex Palmer, who was one of the producers on Out of Exile. He's a huge wrestling fan, and so we were talking about the role, like who can we get to come out? Because sometimes when you have a day player, sometimes you can get the someone to show up if they're like within the area or flying from Dallas or something. And he was like, Jake the Snake is staying in South Oklahoma at the casino or whatever. He was down there doing something.
Like working.
Yeah, he was there for like a while or something. And so I was like, yeah, you want to reach out to him? And Alex was like, yeah, my pleasure. And next thing you know, he comes up to me one day on set. He's like, we got Jake the Snake.
So
He's like,
cool.
him and his daughter are driving up from whatever that place is. Like, it's not Tishomingo, it's something like that.
Windstar.
Yes, whatever's
Like
go
the
straight south on I-35,
furthest-
and it's
yeah,
right before you
the
get to
furthest,
Texas.
South
Yeah.
one, yeah.
And so he drove up, and we were at Rodeo Cinema. And what's crazy about it is it was like an ice storm happening outside. It was October, end of October, and there was an ice storm. And so everybody was really worried about are we going to be able to shoot tonight and stuff. And it was raining and sleeting and stuff outside, but we went ahead and shot. And Ryan Merriman showed up, and anyways, so he shows up. He's huge. He's like 6'5"
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And I remember I
met
stood
him.
on a pole. There's a rails that line the inside of Rodeo, and you can stand on a rail. And I stood on the rail, and I still came up to right here.
Oh, man.
And I was and I took a picture with him standing on a rail. And so, but he came in, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's get to shooting. And I was like, how do you want to shoot this? I was like, how about we just have you enter like you would, like wrestling? He's like, okay. And so he enters that long hallway. We track back and we track forward with him doing that.
That's
You
cool.
know, I
And,
get, wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we just
Okay.
kind of discussed his intro. And so we did that. And then he has a problem with his neck because he's hurt his back or something, his neck. So he was like, Ryan's over here, but he has to turn his whole body to see him. And then
Yeah.
and he finally sees him, and he gets up there and he sits down. But and they're having this conversation. He's supposed to exchange money, but he couldn't turn his head very well. And so Ryan had to lean in and give it the money. Anyways, he likes to try things. Some people stick to the script. He'll have the script memorized, but then he'll try stuff too. He'll just go off on a tangent, and it works because he
So
just
good.
gets it.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
so natural.
Because he's done it in wrestling.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just goes off script, and so we just went with it, and it was fun. And but the coolest story is when we wrapped him that night. And anyways, in the scene, Merriman exchanges money for information. So he gives him this wad of fake money. He's just like, I'm not telling you shit. And so Ryan has to give him money to get the information.
Yeah.
So he gets the money, he shoves it in his pocket. And then we wrapped for the night, and everybody's taking pictures with him, saying goodbye. And so him and his daughter leave in his truck, and they left. But we had some striking to do, and we were there for another hour or so. Just somebody I think it was a rap night. So Ryan went to the store and brought back some beer. And so they were like, you guys can sit here and drink if you want. And we had a pizza or something. And so anyways, we're there for an hour, and we're just sitting over chatting. And it's sleeting outside, so we're all nervous about driving home. And then we're getting ready to leave. And then Jake the Snake walks back in. And we're because he's sober, so he's not around that stuff.
Oh, right.
And he came in, we were just what's Jake doing here? And he walks in, he's like, Kyle, man, I'm so sorry. I was like, what? He pulls out the wad of money and he gives it back.
Oh, no.
And he was I was
You
like,
thought it was
he
real?
thought it was real money.
Oh.
So he drove an hour down the road, then turned around and came back.
to
Oh,
give you
wow.
back prop money
prop
that he
money.
thought was
He
real.
thought it was real
What
money.
that's a class
And I was just
That's
like,
cool.
I was like, oh, Jake, it's not real, man.
Man,
And
and
he just
even if
looked at
it
me, he was
was, you
just like-
probably would have just been like,
Yeah,
"You know what, keep
and
it."
yeah, and then so he was just like, oh, okay, just want to make sure. And I was like,
That's
no, thank you
cool.
so much. And we kind of hugged and took another picture. Then he left, and that was
Man.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
isn't that crazy?
What a sweetheart.
Not the old Jake, though. The old Jake was just taking
He's
it.
like, I'm going to the casino.
It's fine. You know what? That's why we had a resurrection. Of
Or a
Jake
modern
Roberts.
Jake would have just deposit it and then Venmo'd you. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me write you a check, man, 'cause I
DDP.
ain't driving back.
DDP's got him up to date now.
Yeah, he was so cool. And
That's a great story.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta,
really
you
cool.
definitely got to cast him again.
Dude, so how long have you been, like, when did you say it was like, were you always into movies, I guess? Like, from a young age, I would take
I've
it?
always loved movies. I don't know what it is. Like, I grew up. My grandpa, my stepdad's dad, who I call grandpa, he's like a historian, and on like weekends when I'd stay with him, we would drive to these like museums, like 2 hours away, and he wouldn't even be scheduled to talk sometimes or anything. He would just go in, and he would see the people talking, and he would just start talking with them,
Nice.
and then people would come to him, and he would just talk, and then I had to sit on the couch, and then he'd like flip me a quarter, and he'd say, "Go get a Mountain Dew," and I'd sit there for like 3 hours bored, you know. But then when you get older, you look back on it, and you know it's like some important times. But then he had a library in his house. Like he had a lot of old like pictures and cool stuff and like photography and but then he had this room that he always had the door shut in the hallway, and because we had pets in the house and he didn't want them getting in the library.
Yeah.
And it's just floor to ceiling, just books.
Wow.
Nice.
Like all around the whole room. Like there was nothing else in there, just books piled up everywhere. And so I would always just kind of open the door and it was like magical.
Oh.
You know, and you kind of walk in, and then you know we had this farmland, and they had cattle and all this stuff, and we were always like hauling hay and tromping greens and brush hogging and all that stuff. In the summertime, it's hot, and I remember like I started reading books, and then he would be like, "Okay, so tell me about this book, and you don't have to work this weekend."
Oh, nice.
And I'd be like, "Oh, well, it's this, this, and this, and then the characters are doing this." And he was like, "Oh, okay." He was impressed by it, and so he's like, "Okay, I'm a man of my
That
word."
tracks, though,
Yeah.
'cause he's an
Yeah.
intellectual. Sounds like an intellectual.
Yeah, and so that's where it started, and then we just watched John Wayne and Clint Eastwood movies, and we didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons. That wasn't manly enough for them. They couldn't sit through it, and so like we would just watch those types of movies. And he'd always have he had a fireplace, and he always had a real fire burning, and he'd smoke his pipe, and it had that pipe smell, and we'd watch like a Clint Eastwood movie.
That's really
It was
cool.
just like very like, and it was be low lit in the house, It was like,
and that's how you
it's just
used to
like-
watch movies
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had to. The glare of those two
Yeah.
TVs were too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just cool. Like he was cool, and then he'd go out in the morning and have a cup of coffee, and he'd have us sit on the porch and just listen to the birds. And then he'd go out and sit on a horse and just kind of walk around the property. It was just like, what is this? Who is this mythical person? And anyways, but like I just started watching movies, and I remember I watched Predator like in the late '80s, and I remember I sat down and rewrote the script for it.
Oh,
like
wow.
I sat down, and I just wrote it freehanded.
Oh,
like when I
nice.
was like 6.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask. My next question was like, at what point, what
Yeah.
age were you like, hey, I think maybe I could do something like this?
It's always been there. We always went to the movies every like weekend, and then like in the '90s, it was just me and my mom, and my brother would go to the movies, or just me and my mom. And like I remember going to see a lot of stuff like John Carpenter's Vampires. We went and saw
Nice.
Deep Rising with Treat Williams.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
love that
we
one.
would just go see everything. And then like if there was something she wanted to watch and I didn't want to watch that, she would go to the movie and I would go to the other movie.
Oh, that's
And then if
cool.
I finished early, I'd come outside and sit down.
Oh man.
And then every now and then you
Cinephile.
yeah. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
there was times where she would go like shopping at Walmart, or she wanted to go like do some other shopping, and she would drop me off. And there was no cell phones back then. She's like, "I'll finish, shopping, and I'll come back by and pick you up." So I would just sit there. There was one time I got real nervous though, because I was like there for a long time, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. I was getting real nervous. Like there's nowhere to call. Plus this was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and we lived like 30 minutes away in Spiro, Oklahoma.
That's always
So it's a long drive.
gives
And
you a worse feeling when
Yeah.
you're not at home.
30
Yeah.
minutes though is not far now, but like when you were a kid, 30 minutes was like the other side of the moon or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your parents complained about it. But yeah, we just always watched movies. Last of the Mohicans.
Oh,
I read
great
like
one.
all the Louis L'Amour books and the Franklin W. Dixon Hardy Boys books.
Nice.
It's just I've always liked stories and mysteries.
Well,
weird-
what's your?
weird
Because
stuff.
you can tell a lot about people from this question, but like, what is your favorite movie? And when I say favorite, my criteria is what have you rewatched the most? What's your biggest comfort movie?
Yeah, I think there's two categories to that. So like there's movies I watch all the time that I love, And then there's movies that I love that I don't watch all the time.
Okay.
And I find those more important. Like this is The Shawshank Redemption, Cool Hand Luke, No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, Road to Perdition, Last of the Mohicans, A Perfect World. With Clint Eastwood and
What is
Kevin Costner.
Kevin
Kevin
Costner and Clint Eastwood, and I think was it his first one he ever directed?
1993. Clint Eastwood directed it.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood. It was-
This all sounds like something I would like, but I don't know that
oh,
one.
it was great. You would like it.
Oh man.
It was
Just
really good.
yeah, I like those movies. But then like I have a lot of guilty pleasure movies, and that's the movies I watch all the time, and I probably shouldn't. And that's like Point Break.
Nice.
There's several like that.
Like
Out of the
like
Furnace.
the movies that like when you're turning the channel and it pops
Yeah.
on, it's like, well, I gotta stop and watch
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I watch Patriot Games once every 3 or 4 months, or The Hunt for Red October.
Nice.
Like I watch it like if there's nothing to watch, I would be like, "Do you want to watch The Hunt for Red October again?" I'm like, yeah, let's just put it on. It's background noise. There's something so good about it.
Oh, I do it too. Yeah, it's like a feel good movie or whatever.
It's just
But not
I
feel
fall
good.
asleep.
yeah, it's not a good movie.
yeah, no,
I'm
yeah.
still trying to figure out Sean Connery's Russian accent.
Yeah.
You know, and
Like,
Well, they did that zoom in where that's why I don't think they even should have bothered with an accent once they did the
and then
zoom
it
in thing.
changes when it zooms out.
Yeah.
he didn't care that much.
I just love movies like that. Those are my yeah, I love those movies.
That's really cool. For a while, Cal, he would go to sleep watching the 09 Star Trek. He would rewatch that
Yeah,
a lot.
because
Really?
Good. It's a good movie.
Eric
'cause
Bana,
I was way
bad
into
guy,
space. Huh?
Is it Eric Bana as the bad guy?
That's
Oh,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And
Siler
I can't
with
remember-
Spock. Good stuff.
I can't remember what's like the second in command of Eric Bana, like the other dude.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's
He's in a ton
Clifton
of,
Collins Jr.
Okay, yeah, he's in a ton of like indie films and stuff that I happen to like. So I like that guy too. But I don't know. I think at that time I was going through kind of like a my third eye was opening,
Yeah.
so like I was getting way into space and stuff. So.
Nice.
Third guy.
My comfort
how that
movie
starts.
forever was Jumper. I love
Oh,
that movie.
I like Jumper.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's got a couple of small holes in the plot, but I've rewatched it so many times. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay, but have you read the book?
Oh, yeah, I got it on my audiobook on my phone right now.
Really?
2 different versions. Yeah, I got the original bad quality audio recording, and then I got the newer one they did. It's a great book. It really is.
No, I don't agree.
What's your comfort movie? What's your
Oh,
rewatchable?
well, I have to go back to Jumper for a minute because that was the first. That was the first. One of the first stories that I remember that I watched the movie before I read the book.
Yeah.
Because I'm normally like if I watch a trailer and I know it's based off a book, I like to read the book first and then watch
Yeah.
the movie. That one I did in reverse, and the book's nothing like the movie.
No.
And I think that's my only example of the movie being better than the book. And that's
Oh.
just me. But maybe because I was expecting it to be somewhat of an action, and the book is not an action at all.
No, I mean it's
It's
got a
like kind of
couple of
action.
parts of action, but it's mostly the Jumper book is like everything is real except for the jumping. That's the only thing that's like
It's all
the
set on
crazy-
a trampoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle, are you a fan of the movie Heat? I got it.
Oh yeah, that.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, how did that leave that out of the top?
Yeah,
10?
I was
Like,
thinking when you're
Heat
making that
is-
list.
I watched that. I just watched it the other day. Sometimes I just watch the trailer,
no,
No,
okay.
you don't.
and then I'll put like when I'm writing, I will do the Heat ambience, like the score.
Oh,
they did like a
nice.
3-hour Heat ambience thing on YouTube, and so like when I'm writing, do my writing routine, I'll put it on because the Elliot Goldenthal score is just it's amazing. It's perfect.
A
I'm
lot
sure
of your
you.
movies, yeah.
I'm sure you know that one clip because we were talking about Kilmer earlier. Rest in peace. But there's a clip of him loading that gun that they allegedly show for military training. You know?
Oh, wow.
Do you know this one? Yeah, because he reloads it so fast. Yeah, and they're like, if an actor, you got to be able to do it as fast as that actor.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
You practice.
it's a badass movie.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, you were in L.A. last night, correct?
Yeah, I had the Huntsman LA. I guess I wouldn't call it a premiere, but I had the LA screening with the cast.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I had to pick him up from the airport today, guys, and
Thank
take
you for
him
that.
because tonight he has another premiere here in Tulsa at the Circle Cinema, and it's for the Huntsman. Can you tell us like a little bit about the Huntsman?
Yeah, because I'm going in blind. I don't know anything about it.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah, the elevator pitch. Okay, I guess it's like a repressed ICU nurse takes a job to help a recovering coma patient who may or may not be the murderer of 6 young girls in a fictional town of Antrim.
Oh man,
and nothing is as it seems.
I'm in. That sounds really cool. I like
And
that.
this is
Twists
from
and turns,
an
twists and
actual novel, like
Yeah, it's based on Judith Sanders' novel, and
of the same name.
yeah, The Huntsman.
Oh, man.
And it's weird how this one came to us. It came to us 3 years ago, and my producing partner Nick Clement, he lives in Connecticut, and so he's like in all of our movies that we've done, he helps raise money and whatnot, and so we started like making a lot of films. And Stephen Rittner had adapted the novel, and he lives in New York, and he just reached out to Nick and said, hey, you know, I see you guys are making movies. What's the deal with Oklahoma? And so we got on a call. He had some like partial financing, you know, behind it, and so they sent over the script because he had adapted it from the novel. He wanted to produce it, and we read it. We were like, okay, you know, this is something interesting that we might be interested in doing this. And then they asked us to do like a proof of concept short, and so we did this thing called The Killing Ground.
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, and that became the they loved it. So we went out and shot like 3 or 4 days. As a matter of fact, we're here in Pursuit Films, and Jeremy Charles and everybody was the ones that like brought all their gear, and we just went and made a film for 3 or 4 days. And but yeah, we got them involved. They liked it, and they financed it, and then we went out and hired a casting director, Mark Rutman, and then we started casting the movie. And I remember they wanted to cast Lincoln Rader, which is the coma patient who's the one that's accused of killing these girls, and so I wanted Garrett Dillahunt, and we made an offer to him, and I got a call one day. I think we were finishing Reverence, and or I was on the set of Reverence. And they're like, "Hey, you've got a call with Garrett Dillahunt," and
Nice.
I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Great pick, by the way.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm about to shoot a scene now. It's in my head, and anyways, we set it up for a day that it was a day off, and I remember we got on this Zoom call, and I can see Garrett. He's standing there, and he's like in his laundry room folding clothes. he's like, "Hi, Kyle, how's it going, man?" And he's like folding all of his laundry. And it's like getting higher and higher. It's almost obscuring his face a little bit. He's like, "Hey, Kyle."
him.
Yeah, it was just so funny, and I was like, "What are you folding, Garrett?" And he's like, "Are these my T-shirts?" or something like that. And
All
it was fun. It was,
That's an
But-
amazing
yeah.
impersonation of him and his voice.
hey man, how's it going? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
he cracked me up.
He was so much fun. I really like Garrett. He's
Yes.
he came to the screening last night in L.A. and it was really good to see him, and hope we can find something to work on again in the future.
I'm excited to see this
Yeah,
because
I think you'll dig it. If you like Jonathan Demme, you guys Jonathan Demme like Silence of the Lambs
Oh, yeah.
or
okay.
Manchurian Candidate. That was like my
Yeah.
number one comparable for the film was the Manchurian Candidate. And I don't know if you know like Jonathan Demme movies, but like because there's a lot of serial killer films, but I sort of wanted to like defy the genre expectations a little bit. There's so much like intimacy as far as characters talking in rooms with like just I call eye fuckery.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody's like staring at each other. It's a very
Right, right,
voyeuristic
right.
movie. Very voyeuristic, more eye
It's
fuckery.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of that. And so I wanted to if it was going to be weird and we're going to keep all the secrets from the audience, it's like let's audition this like new perspective of shooting, or not new, but so I paid homage to Jonathan Demme's work in Manchurian Candidate, where they might shoot a scene traditionally, but then they always like shoot it where they're looking right down the barrel of the camera. And it just, if you do that, I feel like it just throws you off a little bit. Like, can I trust this person? Can I trust this situation? And so it just creates another layer of eeriness. And I thought that might be interesting for the movie because people might get bored, like, what's all these secrets? And so you can just use the camera to like make it kind of odd.
Yeah. Well, those are the hardest ones to do. And this one, I don't know what you can tell us about Sean Ashmore's character and Elizabeth Mitchell's character. So Max and Jolene, because it is a lot of it's a lot of twists and turns, but it's what sets the.
Yeah.
I know. Spoilers without spoilers.
I know that's something that they've been asking us, and Sean's like, it's hard if I say it, then you'll know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you talk about why Max, who's played by Sean Ashmore, wants to work in the hospital? You said you think he's a serial killer, but like, can we talk about the backstory of what's going on in his life?
Well, because of this, it's a small town. It was set originally in the Northeast, but we rewrote it to fit Oklahoma once we brought it here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it was set in the Northeast originally in the book. There was a question that we had because this is not in the book and it's not in Stephen's script, and it's something that I wanted to do I did some research and I gave it to them and I was like, look, if there's 2 young girls were killed in this town and the whole town became a protest, like there's 6 girls in this town. Wouldn't the town just be like crazy about this?
Yeah. Would it be on full lockdown?
Yeah, it's like, and then Garrett, or Lincoln's character, which Garrett plays, is shot in the head in the very beginning, and so he's put in a coma, like after a deposition in a court, right? And so he's never really given. The police aren't able to finish the investigation because this vigilantism is just sort of like building and building and building. But after he goes away, and he's in this coma, it doesn't stop. They're still wanting answers and stuff like that, and so the town just puts pressure on the investigation. And so there's this like reoccurring theme of vigilantism. And I will just say that it ties in with Sean's character and that he becomes another force of that or weaponized. He's got a strategy. You may not see it when you first start it, but like just know that there's a strategy that he's employing underneath it all.
Oh, man, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Was this the first time you've ever directed something you hadn't written?
Yeah, I mean, I did get a co-writing credit on this, but only because we had to shift it from the Northeast to Oklahoma, and in addition, I did a lot of rewrites for the big action stuff because that stuff wasn't in the script or in the book, and I just thought, I was like, we might be so zoomed in a lot in this movie. Let's zoom out a little bit and get bigger with it, and so like there was a suspect that they might run this way with while they think Garrett's character is not the killer, so they run over here and chase this guy for a minute, and then it just gets big, like SWAT team raid a house and stuff like that. And so I included all that. The characters were already there in the book, but none of it was there. Just like they just kind of go away. And I thought, let's use this. Let's play with that and like build it up, make it look bigger.
Oh man!
And so I got to do like the action stuff and rewrite those things. And then when the actors came on, they had thoughts and rewrites, and I did those. And so that's how I got my writing credit on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to ask, have you talked to the author, or is he like, what's the author's perspective when you changing stuff?
Yeah, we chatted a lot about it. Judith.
She was actually there during filming.
Yeah, she was there
that's
for the
cool.
short film the proof of concept, and then she was there for the film. Like she was there for a week, and she has some health issues at that time, and but she came in. She was really, really cool. The conceit is there, and she understood that some things would change. I mean, you've got a 300-page book. You got to extract 100 minutes out, 100 pages out of it. So there's 200 pages that are left not shown on the screen, right? And she knew that, and
It makes me think of, I heard Stephen King in an interview one time. They asked, like, what do you think about the movies that are made for your books? He's like, it's like sending a kid off to college. You hope they do good.
yeah.
That's a
I
good
mean,
way to
that's
put it,
yeah.
Something that was trickier about this one too is so there was a book and then it was turned into a script, not by Kyle, and
Right.
and then Kyle was hired as a director and then co-write it to make it work for him as a director.
Right.
So on
My
set with them,
sensibilities.
yeah. So on set with them, there was a week there where there was the author, the writer, the director co-writer,
cool.
and the dynamics of how to make all this work that we just got to
And the
sit back
co-writer
and
became the producer,
yes.
wow.
and he was always
yes.
there. And
Yes.
Miss Judith and her husband Frank financed the movie
That's
too.
right. That's right.
So like,
Let's just
it's
say
like
Video
double-
Village.
Finance.
Like everybody was like
Yeah.
owned it.
Yeah.
I was just the guy down here, that high fiving everybody, like just having fun, making movies.
Yeah.
But
That's
it was
It was interesting though.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
very interesting.
Video Village, which is where you watch the scene, which is where department heads and people watch the thing play out, and we decide if we have to step in or not. And I mean, yeah, there was definitely times where it was a lot of chefs,
Right.
and it was just the dynamics of it, because you still also had a first AD that was still trying to make things on time. You still had producers.
You still have
but
Jacob
you
Snobble.
You still have Jacob Snobble being a producer, and so you have all that, and then you
Madison
have people that are very, very invested in every single
Right.
scene. So
But they trusted me, and it was
They
fun.
did, yeah,
It was a lot
yeah.
of fun.
You have to give credit
I love
to
working
that.
with them. Yeah.
I'm excited to see the version that's coming out tonight. I haven't got to see it. I got to be at an earlier viewing for the cast and crew, and you told me earlier today that they had
It has
changed
changed
some
a
up.
little bit, yeah.
So I'm eager to see it. And when does it come out, and where can people find it?
Well, it's in theaters right now as of yesterday, and it drops on VOD platforms everywhere on February 10th.
Oh, cool.
what platforms is it any particular we can plug or?
Amazon Prime, Apple TV,
Okay.
Vudu, YouTube, everywhere they can be rent or purchased. It's
Oh,
awesome.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Cool.
okay.
So
Yeah.
it'll be easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easy to Find.
And it
Great.
stars Sean Ashmore, Garrett Dillahunt,
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Schramm.
Brent Bailey.
Is it Sean Ashmore? Is this
This is
X-Men.
Yeah, we
I'm
didn't
about
even
to
get
mark
into
out.
that.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, I love him. I cried. I watched him between the two cuts of Days of Future Past. He dies 3 times. Poor guy.
And it's tough. The rogue scene, or
He's
the rogue
great.
cut.
He's great.
We did not even get to superhero nerd out with you.
I don't
That's
have his
so-
action figure. I tried. I
I didn't
looked.
want to get him started. Is what it was. Kyle's got to be at a premiere here.
I'm excited for you guys to see it. Let's talk afterwards for sure. I'm anxious to hear what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, and yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Anytime.
this has been really interesting, and I hope anybody listening is like me, hearing this for the first time. It's like, I kind of want to see this movie.
Definitely go check it out, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to my dad's shitty podcast.